It's the 16th of September, and welcome to PHDQs. Question 1 comes from Stephen from Longside, who asks, which country has the worst leader, and which one has the best? Well, Stephen, let's start with the bad news. There are 3 bad ones worthy of mention, as they are so close together. First is the USA. Donald Trump loses, hands down. His inquiry about injecting disinfectant hit new heights of toxic idiocy, even for him. He has encouraged citizens to take up arms against their government. His government. He suggested that today is a great day for George Floyd, barely a week after his death. And he's defunded the World Health Organization as it didn't share information from Taiwan, overlooking the fact that China has threatened to leave the United Nations if they or any of their agencies even acknowledge the existence of Taiwan. The fact that he got nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize is laughable. I actually think he's not well. Probably dementia or something, but something's not right, that's for sure. Second has to be Brazil's Jair Bolsonaro, who has compared the coronavirus to a mild flu, then caught it himself. He's incited supporters to oppose lockdown measures adopted by local governments and promoted unproven drugs on social media as miracle cures. Third has got to be Boris Johnson. His COVID response has been awful. His personal recklessness almost certainly was the reason he caught it himself, putting a heavily pregnant fiancée and unborn son at risk too. He's now making a balls up of Brexit and is trying to attack the Holyrood Parliament and Scottish courts. Not because they don't work, but because they have made him look incompetent recently. The really frustrating thing is that he is a very, very smart guy and could do it right if he would just apply himself and get the right people around him. But he fired all the good Tories for disagreeing with him. On to the good news. The winner is New Zealand. Jacinda Ardern has been brilliant. New Zealand has lost just 24 people to COVID-19. She has managed to save lives and protect their economy and way of life with a swift and comprehensive lockdown. When Boris Johnson said it would be acceptable to lose 20,000 Brits, Jacinda said, "No way, Jose," that she wouldn't even consider a strategy that would kill thousands of New Zealanders. Second is Vietnam. President Nguyen Phu Trong, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, has also been very good. Vietnam has not lost a single person to COVID. They put in place excellent lockdowns and repatriation schemes. Their medical care has been great, even for foreigners stuck in the country. But they have not been as careful with their economy and have done it a bit of damage. So overall, Jacinda Ardern just shades it. But not losing one person to COVID is quite an achievement. Third, and sadly this is more of a special mention, Nicola Sturgeon. It could be argued that she's not a world leader, but the fact that she is seen as one speaks volumes. Unfortunately for us, Miss Sturgeon is not fully in control of Scotland and our COVID response. But even with her hands tied, she's led a devolved government which has maintained a slightly less negative outcome than the rest of the UK. She was recently hailed as the 5th most eloquent leader in the world. That's another victory for Jacinda Ardern. But Miss Sturgeon was the only leader of a devolved administration in the top 10, which again speaks volumes for her quality. And if she were in full control of Scotland, she'd be right up there, challenging Jacinda, and we'd all be better off for it. Question 2. Shania Dumfries asks, why is the internal market an attack on devolution? Well, Shania, I'm nae Brad Pitt, but I hope to impress you much with this answer. Most concerning in this bill is the provision that says any UK country must accept standards if they are accepted in another UK country. Ergo, at the moment, chlorine-washed chicken and hormone-injected beef and pork is illegal in the UK. But if that were to change in one UK country, it would effectively change in them all, as they all have to accept each other's standards. So if the UK Parliament lowered this standard in England, say to get a trade deal, the rest of us would have to accept it. This goes against what Boris said when he vowed to level up by raising all the boats on the tide, and turns this into a race to the bottom. It would be far safer to adopt the higher standard and make it UK policy, whichever home nation it came from. But most concerningly, it gives the UK government power to refer Scottish or Welsh or Northern Irish legislation to a UK government department, to be headed by a Tory lord, for review, even in all clearly devolved areas. A new and substantial restriction on devolution. And guess who's going to the House of Lords? Yes, you've guessed it, Baroness Ruth Davidson. Despite failing to get elected to the position of Scottish First Minister, Baroness Ruth Davidson could soon find herself in a position to overrule decisions made in Holyrood. There's also provision for the UK government to make direct investment in Scotland without consulting Holyrood. Now, while investment is always welcomed, it should always be planned with the devolved parliaments, out of courtesy if nothing else, let alone the need to avoid duplication of effort or investment. The Internal Market Bill is a bad idea. Bad for relations with the EU, bad for relations with the rest of the world. We're now going to struggle to get a trade deal with anyone, as if we break treaty with Europe, no one will deem us trustworthy. And for all the reasons cited already, it is a direct threat to devolution and an attempt to make Holyrood look ineffective for their own selfish ends. Basically, it's Boris's revenge for the Scottish court's influence in the prorogation proceedings last year and for making him look incompetent throughout Brexit and COVID-19. But he hasn't realised that without us, all it needs is Ed Miliband to make him look like a neep. Well, that's it for PHDQs this week. I direct the watching public to comment on the Facebook page. Remain civil at all times. DaviePHD.